So, I don't know how it is, but we're going to have a few different people who might be up for doing a little bit of performances. We're going to have some people speaking. I'm just going to quickly run through. We've got Holly Penfield, who's a beautiful musician, who's going to do some singing for us a little bit later. We've got the Rivers Trust, someone speaking about fast fashion and its impact on the rivers and seas. Someone from River Action. Oh, you can see they're here. Do shout out if you're from any of these organisations. Extinction Rebellion is here. Amy Jane Beer, who's a writer. Surfers Against Sewage are here. The Wetlands Trust coming down to here as well. See that in a moment. Yeah, okay, I'm going to move across. I'm just going to see a chat with someone. We've got a number here, everybody, good people that we are all volunteers, yeah? We are not professional protest runners, I'm not professional MC, we're just kind of working our way through this, so please bear in mind just to be kind, patient, and everything's going to be alright in the end, trust us. It's going to be cool. The main thing we've got is we've got people and we've got lots of love. That is the main thing. We're here connected together to stand up for humanity, to stand up for nature, to stand up for all that is good on this beautiful planet, plus to be protected and respected. So, how about we do a little try of something I want to try later on? We know the name of this march here today is Restore Nature Now. So I'm thinking, can we get one word at a time? If I say restore, you say restore. Restore. Louder, restore. Nature. Now. Now all at once, restore. Nature. Now. Yeah, no, I need to practice. We need to practice. How about this? Ready? We're going to run, everybody, let's get to it, let's get to the road! Here we go, this is the road. We'll make sure that we are unignorable together.
running around, Next up, our common competition, we have Brimfield.
Thank you. Take that water. Would you like one, sir? Thank you very much.
Poverty has been ground down, and poverty and also issues of environmental and ecological issues solve all problems together. And this is the song that speaks to that. Do you have a lot of
Now, I know some of us are getting excited about the concept of ex-MPs, but not in that sense. I am the MP for Nature on X on Twitter. And of course, not a real MP, entirely unelected, out of the cold, but always knocking on the doors of Parliament, along with all my plant and animal constituents. Circumventing democracy was easy. Electing myself, pretty straightforward, but now the hard work begins. I found out that we can see the daily business of our MPs in the House of Commons. This information is available online in advance for all of us to see. Which debates they can attend, which motions they can consider, which legislation they can vote on. But just because they can, doesn't mean they do. All too often, those green banks in the House of Commons are empty. Our MPs are just not there. I also discovered there's often a considerable time lag between when we think a particular environmental issue is being addressed and when it actually starts to move through the House of Commons. The danger is we can think job done when there's a successful petition to, say, restore peatlands. Job done when the government's own advisors come out against the badger cull. Then, when these issues start to inch through Parliament, our MPs of all parties often don't get informed and support them. Worse still, lobby groups actively campaign against initiatives, and unsupported MPs deliberately undermine legislation using delaying tactics. We need to complement our environmental campaigning by carefully shepherding the issues we care about through Parliament at every stage, by relentlessly holding our MPs to account at every stage. So, as your MP for Nature, I look at the daily business in front of them. Where that impacts nature, I'll put together a short explainer, tweet it, and I hope that you will retweet this, tagging your MPs. Ask your MP to attend that debate on insulating homes. Ask your MP to raise a question on net zero when the Secretary of State is there facing questions. Some of you here will say you're not on Twitter, but the thing is your MPs are. So I would say consider joining or rejoining for this alone. Follow me, find out the Twitter handle of your MP, and retweet everything at them. This is armchair activism at its easiest, all while you have your morning cup of tea. Let's inundate them with messages, asking them to truly listen to the voices of nature. And let's remind them that if they want our vote and our continuing support, they should vote nature's way. I've been the MP for Nature. Thank you for listening. Follow me at MP for Nature.
Yeah, okay, so we're standing here next to some fantastic urban trees, helping us, soaking up carbon, attenuating rainwater, looking after us, caring for us. So this next organisation is all about urban trees. It's Trees for Cities, and this is Susanna.
Hi everyone, it's such an honour to be here along with my colleagues from Trees for Cities. It's just amazing to see all of you gathered here today. I'm here in the Woods block. Give me a cheer, Woods block. I'm in the Woods block today because I have a special place in my heart for trees, and I don't think I'm alone. Make some noise if you love trees. Our urban trees, along with our urban nature, are invaluable. They provide the millions of us living in towns and cities with a connection to and appreciation for nature. I'm sure many, if not all of you, can picture a special tree in your mind that's associated with a place, a time in your life, a memory. I'm thinking of an apple tree that was outside my window when I was studying during the COVID pandemic. It carried me through the seasons with spring blossom, summer shade, and fruit in the autumn for making crumble. I felt so lucky to have that tree outside my window, a connection to the ebbs and flows of the natural world in an uncertain time. But those ebbs and flows and the connections which uphold our ecosystems are under threat like never before. Biodiversity is declining faster than at any time in human history, threatening the systems that cater to our basic needs. The State of Nature report released last year painted a bleak and hugely depressing picture of the decline in biodiversity in this country. We are left with one of the most nature-depleted lands in the world. And I, like many others, feel really scared for our future. I feel scared for a future where our food systems collapse, where we might not have access to clean water. And this is a future where we will be, by all accounts, if we continue down this path of destruction and woeful inaction. And I feel grief for the loss of the species now extinct and the millions more that we stand to lose. The astonishing variety of life fills me with awe and wonder. In this variety, there is beauty, fascination, pain, disgust, delight, sadness, and joy. What a tragedy it is to know that species by species, we are losing this variety in abundance. All 20 targets of the last Global Biodiversity Framework were missed in the last decade. And although there has been increasing recognition and understanding of the value of non-human nature and what is needed to turn things around, action being taken remains well below what is required. We need our leaders to step up, recognise this crisis and take action, not just make promises which aren't kept. Ultimately, our communities, our health and our economy depend on it. When I was growing up, I had a book called The Last Nut. Maybe some of you have read it, you know it. It tells the story of a majestic tree, which through its long life witnesses greedy humans on a ruinous path, depleting nature until the world is a barren, polluted wasteland. As the majestic tree dies, it drops the very last nut, and it leaves you with a choice, whether to eat it or plant it, care for it, let it flourish, take the first step to restoring nature. The last page of the book showed who was holding the nut. It was a mirror, reflecting back the face of the child who was reading the book. And there was a good message there, and it stuck with me. We're all stewards of nature. We all need to act and take care and live alongside our natural world. But when I think about the book now, I also think about the world it portrays that we could be handing to future generations. In some ways, the book says, here you go, small child, have this depleted world. It's up to you now to save it. But we can't just put the responsibility on the next generation. And I should say, the younger generations have been doing amazing things speaking up for nature and the environment, and they should be recognised for that. But it's not just up to them. We need everyone to act. We need our leaders, we need people with decision-making power to act now. The best time to act was decades ago, and the second best time to act is right now. We need action now to make space for nature in our rural landscapes and in our towns and cities. We need action now to ensure that the world we hand to future generations is one where life can thrive. We need action to restore nature now. And I ask our leaders and decision makers, when you answer this call, I ask you to think like a tree. Think long term, not just of the next 5 years, the next 50 years, the next 1,000 years. And with your actions now, plant the seed of the tree under whose shade you will never sit. Thank you.
Great words, Susanna, great words. So we talk about the decline of nature. Only 7% of our woodlands in this country are in good ecological condition. So that is something that really needs to change. So our next speaker is Natasha Walter. Natasha's a writer. Over to you, Natasha.
All the colours of rust and sunset, brown reds and pale greens, change ceaselessly in the long leaves as the wind blew. The roots of the willows, thick and ridged, were moss green down by the running water, which like the wind moved slowly with many soft eddies and seeming pauses, held back by rocks, roots, hanging and fallen leaves. The ground was not dry and solid, but damp and springy, product of the long collaboration of living things with the long, elaborate death of leaves and trees. Those words come from Ursula Le Guin's amazing novel, The Word for World is Forest. When I was asked to speak today in this woods section of the march, I thought, I'm not an ecology expert, I'm not a naturalist. What can I possibly have to say to you about the woods? But then I remember that if we are to turn a corner now and live differently on this planet, this isn't just about science, although that's the bedrock of what we do. This isn't just about the facts. This is about emotion. It is about imagination. Many people have been queuing up this week on social media to tell us that art and politics are separate, but we know that the best art is always deeply political, and the best politics is always deeply connected with the creative imagination. In these dark times, I often go to fiction to remind myself that there are alternatives to the way we live now. And as we feel pummeled by the noise of disaster and destruction and division and anger, we can go to those who remind us that another world is possible. And as Arundhati Roy said, we can find that quiet space where we might be able to find her breathing. In that book, The Word for World is Forest, Ursula Le Guin reminds us that in the forests we might find that alternative vision if we're ready to look for it. We can remember that people are only a little part of the great beauty of the natural world. And she paints for us a world, a threatened world, a fragile world, where people see themselves not as separate from the forest, but themselves as branch and root. Such a vision strengthens me. So I brought it to you today in the hope that it will strengthen you. I know it's easy to feel powerless. If we don't own 1,000 acres to rewild, if we don't have a seat in Parliament, we sometimes feel there's little we can do. But we do each have the power to imagine and to start maybe putting into practice that different relationship with the planet, with the forests, with each other, to see ourselves as a branch and a root, and to start to live up to the responsibility that comes with seeing those fragile and beautiful connections. So today we march and we sing and we chant and we make a noise on the streets of London, and tomorrow we'll tend our gardens and protect our woodlands and hope to be part of that change we know is needed until we can take our place in those forests of the imagination and the world. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Natasha. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to get a bit warmed up and practice some chants, ready for the march. So our first chant, I'm going to go restore nature, and you're going to go now, okay? Restore nature! Now! Restore nature! Now! Restore nature! Now! Okay, and our next chant is protect the woods, protect the trees. Remember, there's no planet B. So you're gonna chant along with me. Protect the woods, protect the trees. Remember, there's no planet B. Protect the woods, protect the trees. Remember, there's no planet B. We could do a bit louder than that, I think. Come on, bring some energy. Protect the woods, protect the trees. Remember, there's no planet B. Protect the woods, protect the trees. Remember, there's no planet B. Cool. Good job, everyone. And our last chant is going to be "Our trees, our future," and we're just going to run through that. And I want to hear all the energy you've got to give. I want you to be loud. I want you to bring the energy. Okay? Our trees, our future. Our trees, our future. Our trees, our future. Our trees, our future. Well done, everyone. Give yourself a big round of applause.
Thanks, Benita. So our next speaker, 10 years old. That is amazing. So come up here, Henry. Let's take this microphone up here. It's Henry, and he's representing the Wildlife Trusts. And give him a big hand. How amazing is this?
Nature, who cares? I do. I'm supposed to be at my school play rehearsal today, but I'm playing a ghost. Instead, I'm here trying to drop UK nature's common ghosts. I'm not being dramatic. The latest State of Nature report revealed catastrophic declines in wildlife, with 1 in 6 species at risk of extinction in the UK. Have a look around. Imagine if 1 in 6 of you disappeared. I'm Henry, I'm 10, and I'm a junior wildlife ambassador for the Wildlife Trust of Beds, Cams and Northampton, and I love nature. So why do I think nature is so amazing? There's something for everyone. You want drama? Watch the springwatch peregrine's nest. You want pretty? Seek out orchids in the meadow. Is something cute more your thing? I don't think you can beat a harvest nest. And if you're interested in something more quirky, how about the patterns in an adder or a stag beetle marching across the park? I've had some amazing encounters with UK wildlife, and I want future generations to also be able to experience these and better. From the amazing sights, smells and sounds to the gallants of mountain cliffs, to watching otters play and eagles soar in the air, and hearing tawny owls tweet and move from back But if we just stop and look, or listen, we can find wonder in nature anyway. I love getting on my hands and knees and looking at the bugs, watching birds flit around my garden, squirrels scampering on them. We need nature. Nature helps us in so many ways. For me, if I'm angry, it calms me. If I'm sad, it cheers me. And if I'm overwhelmed, it grounds me. But more than this, nature can be exciting, intriguing, awe-inspiring, yet sometimes challenging. I want to give back to nature, to thank it for all it's done for me. So I'm here today to ask for help. I hope that everyone will stand up for nature. It's my future, it's your future, it's everyone's future, it's nature's future. Let's create a world of future. Restore nature now!
Give Henry a big hand. This is why we need proper government action on nature, so we look after the planet, people like Henry. Nice organisation. Right, our next speaker is Guy Shrubsole, writer, campaigner, co-founder of the Right to Roam movement. I just read his fabulous book on the lost rainforests of Britain, so I'm looking forward to hearing Guy. Over to you, Guy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. That's an impossible act to follow. It's amazing to see just so many people here today, marching for awe-inspiring nature. Let's hear it for nature. Yes! Because nature is awe-inspiring. You all know what nature does for us. It does lots of things for us, from bees pollinating plants to trees locking up carbon dioxide. But nature isn't just valuable because it does things for us. It's important because it is enchanting. It is magical. It is wildly alive. And because ultimately, we too are part of nature, and we need to be re-enchanted by it. Because that magical tapestry of life is unravelling before our very eyes. To halt the nature crisis in its tracks and turn things around, We're going to need a lot of new nature policies from the next government, and this is the geeky bit. Things like wilder national parks. Yeah, let's hear it for wilder national parks. Who wants wilder national parks? Because currently, our national parks are in a terrible state for nature. And despite being called national parks, they're not actually owned by the nation. Things like a public nature estate, so that land owned by the public sector, in other words, land owned by all of us, is playing its full part in restoring nature. Things like a community right to buy for nature. Who wants a community right to buy for nature? Yes! So that more communities across England, across Britain can buy riverbanks, woodlands, peat bogs, rainforests, former grouse moors, to protect them for nature and care for them collectively. Things like a land use framework that prioritises nature recovery on land that's too low productivity to produce that much food. And we need a new Right to Roam Act for England that follows Scotland's lead in giving the public a right of responsible access to the countryside. Because so many of us have been cut off from the rest of nature for so long, by the enclosure of the commons, by urbanisation, by industrialisation, by digitalisation. And we live in a world where too many of us cannot even name common wildflowers or recognise the song of a nightingale. As the scientist Michael Pyle once wrote, people who care conserve. People who don't know don't care. What is the extinction of the condor to a child who has never known the wren? So we also need something far deeper and more profound. We need to change the culture of Britain so that everyone can be re-enchanted by the magic of nature in our daily lives. Whenever I see a swallow or a swift swooping through the air, I feel a sense of awe. That sense of awe is at the heart of what makes us human and what makes us care about the rest of the natural world. So let's light that spark in everyone, and in restoring nature, restore a missing part of ourselves.
trying to get to the front to slow it down if you can't see.